In this tutorial, I'm going to go over my personal tags as I religiously use the Tradecraft software. This will hopefully give you some ideas of tags you can potentially use, and watching this tutorial can help you in future tutorials where I'm leveraging my tags in the tutorial for specific examples. So we're going to start off with the technicals. I've ordered these things from technicals to management, tags down to psychology. And then finally down here, these three groups are going to be the daily tag groups. Starting from up here, these three groups are going to be the same thing. It's just ranges. However, we have a high time frame range, a medium time frame range, and a micro range. So mean favor means fading back into the range. When I draw a range right here, the green tags will be coming from in here or here. Really fading anywhere above the midline. It could also be here. I would still put the green tag on if I'm trading long all the way up here and short up here. So I have to pretty much be exactly on the midline for the midline tag to apply. So the midline tag is this red tag right here. The mid is going to be right around here, and it can be longing it or shorting it. Next, we have mean against on all three of these, which is breakouts essentially. So when we have our midline on, it can be shorting here or it could be shorting down here. Same thing going on the long side, longing there, and I know my arrows don't look good, but there you go, longing there as well. And then finally mean none. That means no range is going to be present at the time of that. So if we see high time frame mean none, that means there's no range currently on the high time frame. So high time frame ranges for me are going to be anything on a daily chart or a 30-minute chart, and it can go weekly, assuming we've been in a range for like months. Typically that's not the case. So this is Sierra charts. We're going to go to a daily. There is currently a range up in this region, and I'll use this modified Fibonacci tool so you can see it. So up in here, this range is 1500 ticks wide on the ES E-mini futures. That's pretty much the only market I ever trade. And for the last several days, we've been above the midline. So any long will be going against the high time frame, and any short will be going into it. Next, we have the medium range tag, or medium mean. This is going to be ranges that are roughly on a 30-second chart. Looking at this 30-second chart, you can see a range up here, and my definition of ranges is they have to really look like a range. If it doesn't quite have that range look, or it looks like it's about to become a range, then it's not a range. It needs to actually have that look. So this is the medium right here, and then a micro range, which will be the final group. This is going to be 10-second charts or a 3-second chart as well. So coming in and really zooming in here on this very small time frame, there will be a micro range in this location right here, spanning about 21 ticks. Going to the main dashboard, these are the equity curves of all of the ranges. Now, this is going to be split up with another tag group, which we'll get to, called the window tags. These are going to be top of the hour, high time frame ranges, and this is sort of the bottom hour, high time frame ranges. We got the medium range, top of the hour, bottom of the hour, medium ranges, and then the micro range, you guessed it, top of the hour, bottom of the hour. And you can just see how much more parabolic the ranges are when we're not at the top of the hour, which is interesting to see. Now, the yellow is obviously the breakout. Green is mean reversion. Next, we have something called a shimmy entry. It looks like the range tag, but it is different. It is an entry technique. Coming back to the 10-second chart, there are these phenomenons I call reclaims. So you can see how the market rips up right here, and then they retrace it. They do this all the time. You can see how it rips down here, and then it retraces. So a shimmy entry would be like me shorting right here. This is going to be called shimmy against because I have this reclaim behind me. Now, if we're to go long right here instead of a short, that would be shimmy favor. And if we're kind of getting in the middle of a reclaim, let's say this goes down really quick, there's a slight retrace you can't see, and I get in, that would be mid. So again, shimmy favor is having that naked reclaim in front of me. Basically, a really hard move had just happened. Mid being in between, again, against is putting that hard move behind me, and none means we're basically in an area where there are none of these sudden hard movements. Typically, that means a lower volatility area. These are all the shimmy entry techniques. It's, in my opinion, the favor shimmy technique should have the most edge, which we can see how gapped it is compared to all the other trades. Although it doesn't have quite the sample size. Over here, we got 105, 106. It's at 81, so it is not as high of a sample rate. This is shimmy none, obviously shimmy against, which, in my opinion, this shouldn't be that good of a tag. I'm still tracking it. Although we are getting some performance out of it, you can see how the performance overall is somewhat flat. So this is something I shouldn't necessarily be doing all the time. I do it though. And then we have the mid shimmy, which there's not too many of those. Next we have open window, close window. So open window is the first and last 10 minutes of the hour. It would be like 9:50 in the morning to 10:10 in the morning. 10:50 in the morning to 11:10. It's a more narrow window, where the close window tag is going to be anything that's not the first and last 10 minutes of the hour. This is a 10-second chart on Sierra charts. This shaded area is going to be the open window. The black shaded area is the close window. The reason I have this tag is because I just want to know if the top of the hour influences certain setups. Does the market like to do certain things at the top of the hour versus the bottom of the hour? Now we have the open, close, closed, open. So what these tags are, open, close means I'm put the trade on in the open window area, again the shaded area, and I'm holding it through the closed window area. And closed open means I'm putting the trade on in the closed area and holding it and exiting in the open area. The pure open tag is it's open and closed in this area, and the closed tag means the trade was open and closed in this dark area. So that's a mouthful of saying open and closed. What I mean by open and closed is the position being opened up and then closed for a profit or loss. So here's the main dash. You can see the close tag up here, and I put it on white mode. We're getting substantially more performance, but that's because most of the time the sessions are in a closed period. You can see the open window here, and then the hybrids will be back here as the hybrid tags, the open, close, close, open tags back here. There's not much of a sample size. They're a newer tag. So the window tag wasn't designed to be analyzed by itself. It was built to be complemented with the range tags. For example, on the high time frame, mean reversions seem to actually perform better during the bottom of the hour versus the top of the hour. You can see I'm not doing so well. If you take out that outsized loss, it's still pretty flat on the high time frame during the top of the hour. And then if we go to top of the hour on micro ranges, we can see the breakouts are not performing nearly as well as outside of the open window, basically bottom of the hour. So I'm not sure what to gather from this tag yet. I thought about retiring them. However, as I gain more sample size, I think they're starting to share some interesting information. Some tag groupings, such as the window tags. This is me just being a scientist and going, hey, I wonder if there's something here. Sometimes there's not, and you just retire those tags. Whereas the entry techniques, we can see there's a clearly more edge with the favor. And these are all entry techniques in general. And when I put all four of these groupings together, that's telling me a story of what the price action might have looked like. So I can see these tags on a trade and have an idea of what the price action was doing without actually looking at a chart. Next, we have psych prices. So we have on the point, mid, and purgatory. So let me show you what those are. Coming back to the 10-second, we will zoom way in. These yellow lines are psych prices. So the price of 75 even, 60, 75 even. That's a psych price. Then we have 70 even, psych price. 65 even, so multiples of fives. The psych price tag is not just the psych prices if we zoom in a lot. So this is a modified Fibonacci tool. 3 ticks below the yellow line, I still consider on point, and 3 ticks above the yellow line, I consider on point. Now, if we zoom in even further, you can see that there are these little black lines here. This is each tick. So if I executed a trade right here at 76 even, this would no longer get the on point tag. Anything within this green red zone is on point. This would be purgatory, which is this tag right here. Now, before I explain what the purgatory tag is, let's explain the mid tag. So we have 80 even up here. We got 75 even down here on the price scale. Mid will be directly in the middle of these 2 yellow lines. So it's the 6 tick area in between the psych prices. 77.50 is the exact mid price between 75 even and 80 even. Purgatory is between the psych price tag, which is called on point, and the mid tag. So it's this area that's kind of in between. So I want to know, is there something going on with psych prices that may lead to more edge? And so far, there really isn't. These are all of them. The on point tag up here, we'll do this so you can see it. On point being the orange, mid blue, and pink being purgatory. Now, you may think that there might be more edge with the on point tag. We just have a higher sample rate. If we come out of this and come down here, you can see the actual statistics on these tags. 68% win rate, 67 and 66. They're roughly all the same and they're kind of fluctuating. So far I'm not really seeing edge with it. I'll come out of this. Here is the volume histogram on it. There's the on point win versus the loss, the mid win versus the loss, and the purgatory. Each one of these does have a little bit of edge. Standalone, this tag really isn't telling me much. However, I'm being a scientist. I want to know if it even matters. Now, it might complement the actual range tags. I've yet to do a review on it, as these are a newer group of tags. Next, we have random tags. We got mistake, which is the cat walks on the keyboard and submits a trade, or I didn't mean to put a trade on because I fat fingered the mouse. I want to know about that. Next, we have compression and compression fail. This is going to be almost like a wedge pattern. So when you see the price action start to do this, that would be compression. And if it works, then it'll just have a compression tag. On the flip side, if that compression is doing this, and I'm in the trade, by the way, and it breaks that tightening of that area, that's compression fail. Not every trade has compression. That's why it's in the random category. We have inventory clear. This will be when we have kind of a range or just a tightening of price action and they blow it out really hard and V-flush back in, and they actually start trading back into this original range. That is called inventory clear. Now, inventory clear isn't always going to be associated with ranges. However, it's going to be associated in areas where there might be a lot of pivoting, like buyers or sellers are defending a specific area. If they flush that area and come back in almost immediately, that's an inventory clear. We got stop runs, which I don't really use that tag. It may get retired. The thinking behind it was stop running these really tight pivots where it's pivoting a lot in roughly a tight area. And then flip hit, this is actually a management technique. This is when I go long and then I immediately get out of the long and go short, or I go short and immediately get out and go long. In my early career, this used to be one of my biggest killers. I would be flipping positions all the time. And when I tracked it, I realized how aggressive I was and how that was just killing me. So it's something I like to continue to track because there are certain circumstances where it's okay to flip hit, in my opinion. Here's the flip hit tag. You can see that it is very much looking like a range itself, and it's currently down money. However, there are times where the flip hit actually does pay off, and it does lose as well. Here is the flip hit, and we can see that there is confusion on that trade. Pretty good on that trade psychologically. That one's good. This one's a full tilt trade. This one, emotions are arised in it. This one also has emotions, and this one has emotions as well. So this tag can be good or bad. It can be decent if the emotions are ideal, but if I'm going tilt or falling off the rails, we can see how it can kill me. So this is sort of a double-edged sword of a tag. Next, we have the yellow star tags. The yellow star is associated with the rating system in the journal. So if we go to the actual journal, it's associated to that middle star, the yellow star. So I have hold more. That means I need to hold the trade for longer. I'm just cutting it too early. We got better entry. That usually means I'm like chasing, so I'm getting in a bit late, but it could also mean earlier. And then held too long means I just held the trade way too long. This is all management stuff right here. We can see right here, this is the equity curve, and we can see how well hold more is performing. Usually that's going to be a tag where it's winning. Again, I'm just cutting too early. We can see the held too long is losing, which makes sense. And then we have the better entry tag, which is winning a little bit. Somewhat of a flat tag. There is an outlier trade. Now we do have some hybrid where it's hold more, better entry. This tag group is not exclusive. I can have hold more and better entry combination come on, or I can have a better entry held too long combination come on, which is not being displayed here. So when we look at all my tags, they are all exclusive, where I can only have one tag group picked at any given time, except for the yellow star grouping. I can have two in there at the same time. Next, we have conservative versus aggressive trading. So this is like my intention going into the trade. Am I trying to just scalp it, or am I trying to actually push and hold the trade? Here's the overall equity curve of aggressive versus conservative trading. Conservative being the blue line. You can see it's a much smoother equity curve, whereas the aggressive tag does have deeper pullbacks, but it does have bigger rips on the upside as well. So again, what is my intention? Am I trying to scalp it or push it? And does aggressive or conservative behavior dictate if a specific setup needs one of those intentions over the other to perform better? Like, are certain setups going to be better at scalping or be conservative and profit taking? Or is that setup going to be better if I actually push it? This tag also is designed to complement the other tags like the ranges or something technical. Next, we have clear versus confused. This is psychological tags for these next four groupings. So clear, confused. When I'm executing a trade, do I understand what's going on in the price action? If so, then I'm clear. If I have no idea what's going on in the price action, then I'm confused. This tag is a given. I shouldn't be trading when I'm confused. And I've been tracking it since I started this journal. And here's the overall equity curve for clear all the way up here. This is confused down here, which just does not perform well. And the raw equity line with both of them mixed. And I've tracked all of them over the course of 339 trades. So this is one of the oldest tag groups, and every trade has one of these tags. And my theory going into this was confused trading is just not going to perform well, and this is a decent enough sample size to see, hey, that really is the case. We can see that there is a total of 62 confused trades versus 267 clear trades. So at this point, it's kind of a given tag. I always need to be clear. However, it's good to check in with myself as this tag is attached to the loop timer. So if we come in here, we can see that it is flashing. So when I run my loop timer up here, I typically do 3-minute intervals personally. I need to check in with this one, as well as these emotions that we're about to go over. So next we have, are you getting upset? No, slightly, or pissed off. This specific, and I'm going to get the flashing to come off real quick, so I'll click here. So this one right here, this is my emotions that is associated with calmness. It's, in my opinion, psychology is something that messes with all traders, myself included, and it's a big deal. And I want to measure as many different data points on psychology as possible. So my psychological tags, there's quite a few of them. Am I getting upset set. This is just calmness. It says CM, which represents calmness. Next we have, am I okay with my P&L? Yes, I'm okay. It's bothering me, or I'm not okay with my P&L. This is contentment. This group is going to tell me if I'm revenge trading, essentially. Where, again, this one is just pure calmness, pure emotion. Now, as you probably noticed, these are phrased in questions. Since they're attached to the loop timer, for me, I noticed that they just didn't resonate with me as much when they weren't in question format. Because originally, it would say calm 3, calm 2, calm 1. Content 3, 2, 1. And I would just kind of do a rating like that. And then up here, it would just say calmness, contentment. So I decided to put it in a question format, and I just find that to be better with the loop timer function because I read it and then I answer it, and it just works better. Finally, we have, are you wanting to trade now? No desire to trade, slight urge to trade, I want to trade now, and then it has a P because this is the patient category. In the Finding Edge tutorial, I go over how I built this. Here is the calmness, contentment, and patient tags. Now, I renamed them on this specific widget. Otherwise, it would have the question, and then it would say, no, slight urge to trade, I want to trade now. And for me, it just makes more sense that when I'm analyzing the statistics to then cycle them back into patient 3, 2, 1. 1 being the worst, 3 being the best. Now, what's interesting is as far as the calmness goes, there's only been 2 times where I've gone tilt on all 339 of my trades. There's been 16 times where I've not been content with the P&L, and then there's been 21 times where I've had a lack of patience. So we can see that from a psychological standpoint, losing my calmness isn't really as big of a problem as contentment and patience. If we go to the yellow tags, we can see we have 15 here, 29, 36. The real problem, the bigger numbers, is patience. And contentment is sort of in the middle. So now I know that I need to really focus on patience during a trading session and be very aware of just waiting for that right opportunity. And you can see how much they've all lost. You can see that this has lost 8,500 here and then 8,350 here. So we can see how just a lack of patience does lose. These tags are being complemented by these tags as well. So you got to realize these P&L numbers are going to be intermixed, and losing 8,350 here could mean this was also yellow, and part of this 3,400, some of the trades here could be part of the 8,350 here. So keep that in mind. And we can see that contentment, a slight lack of it, it does win, but when I'm absolutely not content, it's not working, and same with lack of patience. Finally, we have our daily tags. Feeling rushed. I have meetings to do with the Tradecraft software, as at the time of the filming of this, we're building it out. So I have to meet with the developer almost every day. Or maybe my girlfriend is here and she's a bit distracting and I want to wrap up trading so I can hang out with her. Feeling pressure to sort of lock in P&L on the day. Obviously, I'm going to perform better if there is no pressure. I've just noticed that I get into a lot of trouble when I just feel the pressure that I need to perform that day. So it allows me to be accountable with myself. Another psychology tag. Nightly hypnosis, which I have not been doing for a while. So I listen to hypnosis sessions at night. I'm a huge believer in it. I've done a lot of it. And it's interesting to see the performance with this, which, again, most of my trades I've not been doing nightly hypnosis tracks. However, we can see that when I was doing them, there was a huge boost in performance. What's nice is I'm getting a big sample size of the no hypnosis session. If you're struggling with trying to change habits, hypnosis works really good. I've just been complacent about doing it every night. However, I think this is an interesting tag to continue to track, and it's a daily tag. Finally, we have day types. Some of this may not make sense to you. We got pure trend up. That should make sense to you. Is it a pure trend up? We got rug pull, which is pure trend and down. And then we have pure mean reversion, which is just a ranging day. Then we got double distribution days. Anybody who's a profile trader would understand what that is. So this is me attempting to categorize the day session after the fact. Not before I go into the trading session, but after the fact, I label the trading day what it was. And these are all the different day types. Now, it is a newer grouping, and I've been building it out over time. Some of these tags, there's going to be multiple trades under one of these days. So if I go to date, we can see this tag right here called double distribution up, which I did lose money on. There was only one day where that day type was on since the creation of the tag. These two have the most sample size. We got pure trend up and slip heavy. And then this one, there's been a few days, 1, 2, 3 days of trading with pure mean reversion. So if you're seeing a flat spot, that means there was no trading. As far as this one here, pure trend up, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So there's not enough of a sample size on this stuff. And my overall mood could be affecting the way I traded, like on this specific session right here versus these other pure trend day up sessions. If we go to trade number, it looks different, but that can be a bit deceiving. However, we can see I took a huge trade on pure mean reversion, which this was an A+ trade, and I knew what I was getting into, and this A+ trade was actually in my playbook. And I knew it was an A+ trade, so I committed to it. This is why this one is working so well. So these are all my tags. Certain groups may be retired. However, I'm going to commit till I have enough of a sample size. And when I do retire a tag grouping, I will make a tutorial on when to retire a tag. Basically not use it anymore. Hopefully this inspires you, gives you some ideas, and this is what I do in my own personal trading.